Wednesday, hump day. We're nearly at the end of the week. Welcome to Candy. I hope everybody is doing phenomenally well. We've got some interesting bits to talk about tonight. As you will see, the tagline of the show is "Let Him Go." Plenty to say about Kobie Manioo, but before we do that, as always, let's say hello to everybody. I hope everybody's having a very nice week. Kev, how you doing, mate?
I'm feeling antagonistic and disagreeable. That's how I'm feeling. No, I'm just joking.
I hope so. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want people to disagree. I want people to say that I'm barking up the wrong tree. However, the stats I've got, I think, are going to be hard to argue with. But anyway, let's get into it. So first and foremost, as I've said in the video, is it time? It's time to let him go. Kobie Manioo. Now, when we go through the stats this season, he's not had any luck, has he? He's not had any chance in the Premier League. He's had a few minutes off the bench here and there. When sometimes in that midfield we have been crying out for this change, we know that we're still not where we need to be in the sense of that midfield being completely perfect. Casemiro has been good, and we've got a lot to talk about Casemiro later on. But essentially, it's time for him to go. And the reason I'm saying this, Kobie Manioo, I always say his name two different ways in the same sentence sometimes. This season in the league, Kev, this will surprise you. He's had 138 minutes in the league this season, which I think is absolutely atrocious. Now, I'm going to double down on this. 80 appearances for the club since he made his debut, 57 in the league. This will shock you. Since the start of last season, Kobie Manioo has 9 starts in the league since the start of last season. Now, we can talk about, does he fit the system? I said the S words, shoot me. We can talk about, does Amorim like him? We can talk about that till the cows come home. But when you look at it like this, if this was any other player, you'd say that they haven't got a future at the club. And look, we always talk about the fact that we want him, we love him, we adore him. He's a United player and he's part of the youth and he gets it, blah, 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 blah. But I think we've got to, as a fan base, I think we've got to start coming to terms with the fact that I think Kobie Manioo's time at Manchester United is coming to an end. The stats there, the fact he's made 9 starts in the league since the start of 24-25. And actually, I'll double down on that. Last season. Of those starts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 of those 9 starts come before Amorim got to the club. So since November last year, he has 4 starts in the league. Now, he's 20 years old, and yep, I get it. He has still got plenty of time to develop, but this kid needs to be playing now. This kid needs to be getting the football. To have 80 appearances at 20 for Manchester United normally tends to intimate you're a very good footballer. I think we're at a point here where I think we have to come to terms with the fact that Amorim just doesn't like the player, doesn't value him as a player that he can trust, doesn't see him as someone that can start a game and do things for us. Now, again, I'll go back to the fact he's a Manchester boy and we love him and we're fans. The fans adore him, and surely that's got to count for something. But one thing about Rúben Amorim, which we know, love him or hate him, he is a stubborn mother canucker. And if he sees something the way that he sees it, he will not change it. So, Kev, the question I'll ask you before we come to the chat, and I will come into your comments, don't worry, and I want to hear your opinions on this. Is time up for Kobie Manioo? Judging by the fact what I've just gone through, and I'll go through him again shortly. Kev, is his time up?
Well, first of all, where does he play in the team?
Central midfield.
What's his actual position in the system? We can talk about it. It's fine now. It's more easy. Where does he actually play? What's his position?
Well, when he burst onto the scene, classic dig at Mika Richards there, but when he burst onto the scene for United, won the Carabao Cup and won the FA Cup, he was utilised more as that sort of 6. He was dropping deep. He was breaking play up. He was starting things off from the back. We know that he has the ability to pick a pass. We know that he is agile on the ball. When he drops his shoulder and gets away from players, we know that he's got that in him. I mean, this kid started a Euro final, for Christ's sake. Less than 2 years ago.
But I'm just so, I mean, literally while you were talking just now, that's what I was thinking is actually what position is he nailed into? Because I don't really see him as a central defensive midfielder. Then playing alongside slightly in front, then yeah. I think he's more like one of the 10s, one of the front threes with the way he plays. And then you don't need to rely. Well, I suppose that. Well, yeah. Where does he fit? Because they are getting relied on. Cunha and Mbeumo are getting relied on to come back and tackle, which he can do. I think the game that he played well in. I can't remember when he came on as sub.
Leon
playing. I think it's a couple of matches he's come on, hasn't he? Is it one or two? He did play a bit higher up. I'm sure he was playing on the right side in midfield, but I'm sure he was playing higher up. And he did get more involved in the game there, but he's come on another time, and I don't think he was that involved in the match. But is he taking Casemiro's place? Is he taking Bruno's place? Or is he taking one of the front three's place? I like him. I'd said I want him to stay
I agree.
Because I think he's a good player. But actually, if we're being sensible, where's his nailed on position in the team that's not going to change the way it plays? Where do we think that position is?
The problem is with this as well, Kev. Let's be honest. Like we're sat here saying, could he play in the 10? Could he play in the 6? Could it be that 8 that Bruno's meant to be doing? And Bruno has improved in it. Let's give him his credit the past few weeks. But he doesn't get the opportunity to stake a claim, and that's what frustrates me. I mean, I've said on here.
Maybe that's why there's a lack of trust then, or why he doesn't quite fancy him, because he's not quite sure what he is. But he likes his players to be specific to a position.
How can he? I mean, if that's true, I would worry about Rúben Amorim as a coach, because he's had this lad for a year now, and if you don't know what this player is, and also let's not completely absolve Rúben Amorim of any blame here. He's had this player for a year. Like, it's not
what do you think his best position is, Dan? Where do you think he should play in the team?
I think in the centre. I think he can do the 6, and I think he can do the 8. I genuinely believe
either one of those positions.
But then at the moment, he is stuck with Casemiro and Bruno, and we could sit here and say, Kobie, just give it till December. You'll get some minutes. But I think Rúben Amorim is going to pull an even bigger shock on this one. I think when Brian goes, when Ahmad goes, when Mazraoui goes, which weakens us. I said this last night. It wouldn't surprise me if he does something completely ridiculous, pushes Bruno into a 10 and plays Ugarte and Casemiro. It wouldn't surprise me. And if he does that, well, I'm sorry, but he has to go. I think
he could play in one of the top. I think he could play in the front three, because of his skill level, and he can slot a pass through as well, and he likes to break through, which is what those two, like Mbeumo and Cunha, are bringing the team at the moment. It's getting the ball up the field quick and trying to break the lines to open the game up a little bit. So that's where I'd like him to see him play. If he's going to be around while the AFCON's going on, I think that's probably where I'd like to see him play. I'm still not sure about Ugarte. I'm still not sure about him.
Ugarte's not it. And it goes back to the same situation in the summer, and we'll talk about Casemiro more in a minute, because I think he'll go. In the summer, we potentially have an issue here where we've kept Kobie Manioo. Let's say we say in January, you ain't going anywhere, pal. You are here. You're staying here. Well, then you've got a player who's unhappy, who gets to the summer and says, "Yeah, I may have played a bit in the middle of the season, but I want to go." You've got Ugarte, who we know is not good enough. Let's not sugarcoat this. Ugarte is not good enough to play for Manchester United. You've got Casemiro, as I've just spoken about, and then potentially you've got the Bruno news. Manchester United don't have the time and money to try and replace all 4 midfielders. They just don't, and they don't have. We talk about Kone, who's in the youth system and looks a decent prospect. He is not ready to step up and do that. He just isn't. So I don't like the fact, and I'm going to be honest with you here, Kev. I don't like the excuse that Ruben uses, where he says, "Well, unfortunately, we don't have many games, and players are just going to have." No, I don't agree with that. I don't, because I think there's been times where Ugarte's come on instead of him, and I thought that's completely the wrong move.
I thought that as well. I agree with that.
I think it's a case of he just doesn't like the player. And we back the manager. We've said that we're going to back the manager. But little decisions like these can come back to haunt you because, again, the news is not... In fact, before I come through the news, let me go through the comments because there are some people commenting and I want to get your opinions on this. Muhammad says, hello. So does Chappie. Yo to you, Nate. Hope you're well, mate. Ben, good to see you, bud. And Chappie says Amorim doesn't seem to like him. And at this point, I've got to say, I agree. I don't think he does like him. I genuinely don't. The evidence is there to state that the only start this lad has had is in the Carabao Cup. And I know that Amorim would never have wanted to go out of that cup. I know he wouldn't have. I don't think he's that manager. But part of me can't help but sit here and think he watched Kobie Manioo and went, you wanted him. He was shit. So there you go. I've answered your questions. I think it's totally unfair to do that. Ben says he'll be another Pogba. We'll buy him back for 100 million in 5 years. Christ,
I see that happening.
Wahaha says lots of injuries on the boy. I did see an article he's getting a personal trainer and a diet to get himself fitter and all, but let's see if he actually does improve until the end of the season. Well, Wahaha, I'll come back at you on that one. How are we going to know if he's going to improve with his fitness as a player if we don't see him play? And I'm sick to death of this. He's 20 years old. Is he expecting too much? I'm sorry, but I've seen games where our midfield have been cooked, and I look there and I go, "There's your opportunity to give him minutes." And he has had sporadic appearances. And for any other 20-year-old player, you'd say, "Okay, 20 breaking into the team," but this lad has broken into the team. This lad has scored important goals for Manchester United.
Good goals.
Good goals. This lad has been part of some very, very important performances. I don't think he has to prove to Rúben Amorim that he is worthy of this team. I think Rúben Amorim, on the flip side, should give him a chance. Should absolutely give him a chance. So it's getting to the point now where I sit there and I go, I don't know what more he can do. I go back to what I said a few weeks, probably about a month and a half ago, Kev. He could come on and score a hat-trick and I don't think he'd start. And I don't know, like at the moment, Rúben Amorim still has the backing of the fans and they still chant his name. And I kind of feel like there was moments where United were looking like we were back to our old selves last season. I just wonder if it's too far gone now, this relationship. And to be fair to Kobie Manioo, he had that one little thing he put on Instagram during the first international break. And I went, Kobie, come on, you're better than that. But there is an element now of me that sits there and I say, I feel sorry for the lad and we need to let him go because he's not going to get the World Cup this summer. There's no chance he gets in the World Cup. Every player's aspiration is to represent their country at the World Cup.
Talking about selling him ultimately.
We have to be fair to the lad. We have to, because at the moment, what's the point in keeping him? I'm getting to the stage now, Kev, where I think it's cruel. I genuinely think it's cruel what we're doing to him. I think it's cruel what Rúben Amorim's doing to him. It reminds me so much of when Jose Mourinho had this vendetta against Luke Shaw. And I remember Luke Shaw played against Leicester and he did really well. And Jose Mourinho, instead of coming out after the game and saying he was incredible, he was this, that, he said he was playing, but with my brain. And when Ruben said the other day that, the reports, should I say, sorry, apologies. The reports come out that he said he had to work on his footballing IQ. I find that to be one of the most disrespectful comments I've heard. For a player of that age to be talking about his IQ, I think is baffling. Coming from a manager who knows what it is like to struggle. He has been with this Manchester United team that has struggled. So I just kind of feel like if you're not going to use him, let the lad go. Same with Xerxes. Let the lad go. Because at the moment, we're going round in circles and I wonder how long it will be before the fans do start to chant for his name on the sideline. And then when the fans are chanting for a player on the sideline, it creates an even bigger divide because then the manager then goes even further into the, I ain't playing him because you're chanting it. So it's frustrating. Ben says, should give him a chance on the right side of the 10 when Brian goes off to AFCON.
That's what I was sort of thinking.
We know, though. We know what will happen there. It'll be Mount. And Mount, has played well this season, so I'm not going to dish on Mount. Evening, Andy. Good to see you. I hope you had a good birthday, my friend. He was playing for England last season. Amorim has destroyed him. This comment here, Chappie, I'm glad you said this because I want to ask this to the chat and I want to ask this to you as well, Kev. Has Amorim made Manioo a worse player?
Well, there's something in what Phil's saying there, right? But I wouldn't say it's Amorim. I'd just say it's United themselves that have maybe not destroyed him, but used him. He got used way too much, didn't he? We wore him out completely. He was playing every single game, and I know they're saying, "Oh, young players, they should be fit. They should be doing, they should be full of it. They should be able to play every game." But it is a lot to do, and it's not just physical; it's mental as well. And that is, we did wear him out, and then he played every game for England, didn't he? Did he not play every single game?
Most of them, mate. I mean,
did we not wear him out a little bit ourselves as United rather than Amorim?
Well, it's funny you say that because we go back to the 23-24 season, and after being on the bench against Bournemouth in December, he played every game in the league. He started every game, and at that point he was 18 years old.
Where did we finish that season?
We finished sixth. No, we finished seventh, didn't we? Because we missed. We luckily got into Europe because we won the FA Cup. But scored in the final of the FA Cup, for Christ's sake. It's
been quite intense. The Premier League's still as physical. I mean, that's not changed. It's not got any different in that sense. So that would have been a tough season for him. And then he'd gone on and played for England.
Interesting one as well for you here, right? And I'll come to your comments, chat. Don't worry. He's played 48 games in central midfield for United and 48 for defensive midfield. So this isn't about us as Manchester United fans trying to shoehorn a player into a position. This kid has played in that position at a young age. And this is at a time where Manchester United under Ten Hag was starting to really decline. And he was still playing there. And the job of a manager or as a head coach, which is what Rúben Amorim is to make players better. And I don't think Rúben Amorim is good for Kobie Manioo. And again, I'll reiterate, I'm not sat here saying get rid of Amorim, but at the same time, what I am saying is Amorim, for the love of God, give the kid a chance.
He played more defensive for England, didn't he? I remember him making a lot of good tackles, a lot of good challenges.
What else have we got here? Wahaha says, only good thing about Manioo is he's very calm and effective in the opponent's box. Not exactly what's needed in a midfielder. Yeah, but Wahaha, I feel like we're forgetting what he did when he first come into the team. This kid at 18 was breaking up play outside of our area. This kid was taking the ball off the back four, turning and bringing us up the field. Like, it just, I don't like this. I don't like what's happened to him. Andy says, if we buy two midfielders and let Bruno go, does Manioo fit it in? I'm not sure. But again, how would we know, Andy? Because we haven't been afforded the chance to see Kobie Manioo in this system, in this formation, start games. He started four.
He's not had any. He's not played, has he? He's not played. What did you say? 100 and something minutes, so just over a full game altogether. He's played.
The minutes, 138 minutes this season in the league. Right. 4 starts for Amorim since last season in the Premier League. Like, I'm flabbergasted. Ben says he's so much better than Ugarte.
Yeah. I'm surprised he doesn't come on. I've never really thought about it. He doesn't. Ugarte normally comes on first for some reason. If there's a change in the midfield, and that is odd. You should have been bringing him on, I think.
I agree. Steve-O says, evening all. Manioo is supposed to be praised for his dribbling and driving the ball forwards, and there's only one spot in the midfield for that, and it's taken. It absolutely is. And this is what pisses me off with it. So we're going to play, and we've seen evidence of this. We're going to play Bruno Fernandes every week in central midfield, no matter what he does, because I think we can all stay in this chat. Bruno's been good in the last couple of games. He has. He's been decent in the last 3 games. I'd say 4 games. He hasn't been decent all season, Kev. There's been games where you and I have watched him, and we've gone. Get him off the field.
He never has. I don't think he ever has been. He has games where he goes missing and he's thrown his arms up and he's doing all the rest of it. He's pointing and shouting at everyone. Do you remember the last time he didn't play? What happened? The last time he didn't start a match.
Who? Bruno. Go on.
We lost to Grimsby.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not saying he should stop, but when what we were saying towards the end, we were going, "Oh no, we need to bring Bruno," and I can't believe we're saying we need to bring Bruno back on. But no, he does go missing. He does go missing, but he's always gonna. Maybe if he does stay, back to Man, if Manu stays, maybe the AFCON would be a good thing because Bruno wouldn't stay in the midfield at that point. He would go and play in one of these forward positions because that's his best position, isn't it? So he would go and play there. So. And even if he doesn't, the manager thinks, well, he's more stable in that midfield, the more central midfield. Then if Kobie Manioo is still around, I think he will definitely play more games. He has.
I've got to be honest with you. If I'm Kobie Manioo now, right, on the international break, because he'll be there training. Ruben says he wants to be there as well. I'd be banging that manager's door and saying, "Have we got a fucking problem or what?" I would. I genuinely would, and I think that's what Kobie Manioo needs to do. And I get we hear the whole Rúben Amorim demands the respect of the players, but I think it goes both ways, and I think what he's doing here is disrespectful. Wahaha says that article was pretty recent. Maybe that changes what Ruben needs to see. I don't know. I did say I want to see more of him. A few cameos he gets are too little to write him off, much like some others. Agree. And that white kit behind Kev's looks like the tongue out emoji. Can't put Mainoo's decline on Amorim. Okay, Wahaha. So explain to me. So explain. I'm lost with that one.
I don't think we can fully. That's what I was saying. I don't think we can fully.
Okay, well,
he's been part of it, but I think it's United as well generally.
But
how can
we not? How can we not? He's not played. Like he hasn't had a run of games to show us what he can do. Like this is.
Are we agreed he's declined then? Do we think he's declined?
Well, logically, this is an important time of his development and growth as a player. This is.
Is it just a case of him not being able to dislodge Casemiro and Bruno? We don't know that he's playing badly. I mean, we can only go on what we've been told that he's doing well in training, etc., etc. So is it just bad luck? Is it just bad luck?
But then
I'd still start him, Dan. I'd still start him. I know people like Casemiro. I'd start him in front of Casemiro. I don't know why we keep starting Casemiro when he's what he is. I know he's got the brain and everything, but I would still be starting him in front of Casemiro.
I agree.
I would have liked to see him in the team this season in front of Casemiro.
Yeah. No, I hear it. Wahaha, I've got the perfect response to this. He was getting injured before Amorim came about. What was Luke Shaw doing? What was Mason Mount doing? What were they doing?
New blood, I think, or something. He's had new blood put in him or something. He's had some wonder drug, Luke Shaw has.
I won't take that comment because
this must be the longest he's gone without getting injured.
Well, it's one game a week, isn't it? Ben says, to be honest, I think even Manioo himself doesn't know his strongest position. He's at a stage he could do with a mentor to learn and mold himself into to nail down a position. Well, he's got two there, hasn't he? He's got Casemiro and Casemiro.
I think he can play anywhere from the central midfield to the 8 to the 10. I think he can play in any of them positions. He'd probably do a reasonable job up front as well, probably.
No. You've twisted my words there, mate. I haven't said Amorim's fixing Mount and Shaw. What I'm saying is your comment was he was injured before Amorim came about. So were these two. But these two were labelled as players that were really important to him, whereas when he come in, I think he just dismissed Manioo straight away. I genuinely do. That's my fear. That's my theory. I think he looked at Manioo and went, I don't like him. He's not because you look at it. Amorim tried his best to get Mount fit, to get Shaw fit, and as soon as they were both fit, they were back in the team. Now, let's not forget Mason Mount. I like Mason Mount. I really like Mason Mount. I in fact, my thoughts. I think he's been one of our best players this season, but Mason Mount come off the back of 2 seasons of being rubbish for United because he was injured, couldn't get any minutes. With that, how can you just not you yourself? How can Amorim come in and say I love him, he's going to play for me, but I'm not going to play him? I just don't think he's had a fair crack. I genuinely don't.
He hasn't had a fair
what else have we got here? Akko, good to see you, mate. He says, we like the player, but we can't blame Amorim. It has always been bad decision-making, but I believe the board knew all of these before appointing Amorim. Let the players go. Interesting comment there. Interesting comment. I thought you didn't want the swap deal with Anderson. I wouldn't let him go to Forest, mate. I wouldn't let him play under that bloody owner. No chance. He'd destroy him even more. Playing Bruno in midfield is hurting the team. Plus Amorim's in play subs. That's a really good comment, Andy. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. And
it's a is it a good conundrum or is it a bad conundrum? We can't get one of the best young players into our team because Bruno is not going to play in that front three. While we've got Cunha, Mbeumo, and Sesko, I would prefer those three to play in those three positions. So then we come back to, well, where does Bruno play? So we drop Bruno, and he's the captain at the end of the day as well, and it's harder on him. Amorim will get absolutely pelters for dropping the captain, not from maybe necessarily Man United fans, but from everybody else. So it is probably it is a conundrum, but is that a good thing or a bad thing that we can't get him in the team? Because the level and the quality of the players that are in front of him is better than he is.
Yeah.
Do we think he's better than Bruno? Do we think he's better than Casemiro? Do we think he's better than Cunha or Mbeumo?
What I think is, though, and I'll come to your comment in a second.
You know what I mean, though?
I agree, but at least give the lad chance to show that he can be. Do you know what I mean? We've got to remember he's 20 years old, and 18 months ago we were all saying that the ceiling of this lad was through the roof. This kid was going to go on and be incredible. We haven't got to see that. We haven't been afforded that. Isaac says, I know I keep going on about Anderson. You do. But I genuinely think he is worth 100 million. I get to see him play for 90 minutes week in, week out. It's not even bias. He's genuinely quality and the stats back it up. Do you know something? If someone buys a player for 100 million who's in the bottom three, I think it would be ludicrous. I think he's a quality player, Anderson. You know my thoughts on him, Isaac. But there's not many players that are in bottom three teams that go for 100 million. There just isn't. It doesn't work like that. And I know it's not his fault. I know he's part of a team. But let's say that Forest stayed. And I don't want to talk about Anderson too much because we talk about him quite a lot. But let's say that they stayed in the bottom three until the end of the season, and say the incredible happened and you got relegated. There is no way you would sell him for 100 million, Isaac. And there would be a couple of scenarios for you. The first one would be his value would drop to maybe 50, 60 million. It just would, because he's a championship player. And the second thing is the player would want to force a move out anyway. There's no way he would play in the championship, especially if he goes to the World Cup. This is all if buts and maybes, of course. Chappie says if he's declined, that's down to Amorim. And Waha, no, that's fine, mate. Appreciate that. Just go on X and search Elliot Anderson. Stats. He ranks first in the Prem for midfielders for so many. I agree, and it should demand top price if he's playing in, and he's playing Europe this season. But if he's up if he's mid-table and up, then I agree it should demand. It absolutely should. But I don't see him going for 100 million. I just don't see it. I can't see that at all. 100 million players. Cunha and Brian went 100 million, and they're both better and more proven. And of course, I think I'm not the one to. I know that. I hear that. Don't forget, Manioo excelled with the kids in midfield as part of 4-3-3. He absolutely did. Ben says 75 million max. Not selling Bruno to Saudi was a big mistake. I agree. I think not selling Bruno this summer will go down as probably the biggest mistake that we made, because especially when you look at who we had available to us that we could have gone and used that money for, I think it will go down as that, absolutely. I don't think he's good enough to play right now. We only have one game a week. Chances are very limited, and the guy is still in and out with injuries. Even if Amorim wanted to play him, can he really? He got injured. He got a knock this week. He was available every week before that injury. Wow. He should have had it. He should have had it.
You see, in terms of our season, so what are we, 11 games in? 11 games in. Now, we've been on a good run, and we always say, and we've said on the streams, it's really hard to change a winning team or a team that's doing well. So that is it's on top of everything else. That's going to limit his chances of getting in the team, because any manager would be reluctant to just chuck somebody in that hasn't started other matches unless they've been in the run themselves with the team. So it's probably just made it a bit harder for him to get into the team as well. Who knows whether he doesn't trust him or not, or he doesn't fancy him or doesn't like him. I just think actually it's probably just quite hard for him to get in the team. like I said, I would probably still pick him over Casemiro. I would trust him to play there. I would trust him to go on and do a good job and be consistent. But he's not. I don't see how he dislodges the players that are playing in his position at the moment.
No.
But I think that if he can stay, there will be opportunity for him to do that. It's coming, isn't it? It's coming. The AFCON is coming. So
no,
I'd hate to see him go. I would. I've said that before. I would hate to see him go. Not just because he's Man United and he's through and through, and that he's academy. It's because he's a good player, and I'm hated seeing some of the good players leave us and go on and do really well over the last 10, 15 years. I've hated it.
I agree. Akko says, are we counting the goals we've scored from set pieces this season? Bruno looks irreplaceable at the moment. Bruno's got 3 assists in the league this season. I think people think he's got more. He's only got 3. And let's not forget this, irreplaceable. The guy's missed 2 penalties, 2 important penalties for Manchester United this season. Bruno has cost us in games. Let's not forget that. We're talking about Bruno like he's irreplaceable. Bruno has cost us at least 3 or 4 games this season. So I see what you're saying, Akko, but I'm not so sure it's as cut and dry as that. By January, we'll probably be around 12th or 14th. Fans ruined our league position. Could be, Isaac. Could be. Now Sesko is injured. Put Cunha up front. Bruno at 10 and Mainoo and Casemiro in the midfield, says Andy. AFCON, maybe we'll see that. Well, Haha says, I was screaming for Mainoo to come on against Forest. You were the ones who said he shouldn't have. Against Forest,
I think Mount comes in instead of him.
I do as well. I
don't think he's better than Matt. I don't think he's better than these players that are playing at the moment. The only reason I would put him instead of Casemiro is purely because of Casemiro's age. That's all it's about. If we had a 27-year-old Casemiro, he's not getting anywhere near that position at all. And I don't think he's better than Bruno. I don't think he's better than Casemiro actually, other than he's got youth on his side. I don't think he's better than the front 3, as I said. So actually, I don't know. I don't know how he gets into the team.
No, it's a shit one. We'll move on from Mainoo because obviously we've had a good old chat about that.
Drowned him.
Here's where it gets fun though. Here's where it gets fun because Ben Jacobs. Are you ready for this? Ben Jacobs has come out today and said that apparently.
Is it about Elliot Anderson?
No, yeah, Elliot Anderson to United, 30 quid. Apparently, Gallagher is the more feasible option for Manchester United. Now, here's where let me say this. I'm going to pre-warn you, Kev, if we get to January and this happens, because you have to sit next to me in these games, bless you. If we let Mainoo go and bring in Conor Gallagher as the replacement, and Conor Gallagher starts getting minutes, I will absolutely lose my shit, because I'm going to say this, and I mean this with every fibre of my being. Conor Gallagher, as an option for Manchester United, is a piss-poor option. I do not rate Conor Gallagher at all. I've seen him play so many games for Chelsea. He had the decent season with Palace. We know that. Went on loan there, did really well. Then he went to Chelsea, and I thought half the time he stank the place up. I genuinely do. So if you're telling me, not you, Kev, if you're telling me that the option that Rúben Amorim will want is to ship out Kobie Manioo and bring in Conor Gallagher, well then I am going to start questioning the manager again. And we don't like it when I question the manager because I get very angry. Now, you shouldn't do that, but I mean,
I would say Mainoo's better than Conor Gallagher.
Of course he is. Of course he is. I mean, where was Conor Gallagher in the Euro 2024 final? Was he on the bench? I think he was on the bench potentially, or in the squad.
Yeah, he was on and off. He played some subs appearances, didn't he?
The other side of it is, and this is where you see the battling, and I think we've seen the battling before between the manager and between the people behind the scenes, because we all know that he wanted Ollie Watkins. We know he wanted experience over youth, which is why I think personally we're seeing the issues with Sesko not starting all the time. I don't think the trust is there yet. Well, Christopher Vivell and Jason Wilcox want us to go for Angelo Stiller. That's who they want. They want Angelo Stiller. Now, if you're saying to me, do we bring in Stiller and we let Mainoo go on loan? Well, then that's a different conversation in itself, because I've watched a lot of Stiller and I really like this player. And I think the age he is, I think he would be the one to push in that midfield. I genuinely do think that. But if you're telling me we're on about replacing Kobie Manioo with Conor Gallagher, I think it's the worst decision that we will have seen under Ineos. And I've seen Ineos make some fucking awful decisions. Let's go through some more of these comments. Mate was supposedly not fit for Forest. From what Dan was saying, you were quite content to keep watching the dysfunctional team without getting subs in. Eh? No, Mate wasn't fit. Wahaha. And I don't think I thought Bruno and Casemiro were probably two of the brighter sparks in that game against Forest. I thought it was the wings that was where we were getting absolutely battered, and I thought they bullied Cunha and Mbeumo, and that's why we just come within ourselves. You can't tell me that Bruno and Casemiro, didn't play well against Forest. I thought they were the only bright sparks in the bloody team with Le Mans. We're only so low now because of Ange. We've been way better under Dyche. We've only lost to Bournemouth, who we never beat. The last time we beat them was in 2012. I think people are struggling to understand that there is a difference between what he's worth and what we will be able to sell him for. Theoretically, if we get relegated, that doesn't suddenly mean that he's worth any less. But keep league position would dictate the price that we'd be able to sell him for. If you get him for 100 million, Isaac, good luck to you. I think the only teams that would be stupid enough to pay 100 million for him would be Liverpool.
All players are worth what somebody's willing to pay for them. It's the same with anything you want to buy. You'll buy if it's worth buying and you want it. People will just go and buy it, whether it's 100 million, whether it's 120. What he's actually worth is a completely different number to that, and the market will dictate it. And people just banding it around. I don't mean in the comments here. I mean in the media in general, going, "Oh, he's worth 100 million. 100 million is worth 110, then that's what people start thinking he's worth as well. So actually, he won't be far off being worth that. But then you just look at players that are playing in similar positions to him: Declan Rice, Caicedo.
He's nowhere near. He's nowhere near Declan Rice.
What are they worth then?
He's nowhere near Declan Rice.
And even before they made their moves, is he at their level before they made their moves to the clubs they're at now? Arsenal and Chelsea.
I agree.
That's what 100 million or 80 million or whatever is. So, is he as good as them? And Declan Rice was the captain of West Ham, by the way, at that point as well, I think. So the comparisons is there. He's worth what somebody's willing to pay for him.
I agree. It seems if Amorim doesn't get his way, the players suffer. He's not bigger than the club. And Chappie, I really like that comment because I think there is an element of truth to this. I do think there's an element of truth, and I just don't want it. I don't want him to go, man. Don't want him to go. The other news we sort of teased about it before was Casemiro. So Casemiro, United have, as we know, have said to him, "Look, we want you to stay, but we don't want to pay you the money we're paying you." Which I think they're well within their right to say. At his age, I think to extend his contract. Yes, he's looked fitter this season, but I would say this, and I will say this with chest: if United had Europe next season, Casemiro would be blown out of his ass by November. He would. The one game a week suits Casemiro. And Casemiro's been one of our better players this season, but Casemiro's apparently, from what the reports are saying, has said, "No, I don't want to drop my wages. If you want to keep me, pay me." If that's the case, then I'm saying to Casemiro in January, find a new club. We ain't keeping you for that money. Absolutely not. And then this goes back down to the midfield option then, because that's Casemiro gone. That's Ugarte gone. That's potentially Manioo gone. Casemiro, without us even realising it, this season has become kind of an issue. And an issue, I don't mean an issue in performance, but we know he's a player that Rúben Amorim trusts implicitly. We know that because he plays him and he's been playing well for him in the system. But we are handed a bit of an issue here where Rúben Amorim next season potentially could be without his two central midfielders he's got now. And to rebuild that central midfield, you have to get that spot on. The midfield, as we have seen for the last few years, is so important to a football club because it's the difference between you getting up the field and creating. It's also the difference between you making that defensive rock and stopping the defense from being battered. So what I don't want Manchester United to do here is to do like Liverpool did with Van Dijk and Salah. It rage on until February and March. Are they staying? Are they going? I don't want that noise around the club. If Casemiro doesn't want to stay for the money that he's for less money, thank you very much, Uncle Casemiro. Adore you, mate, but off you go. Off you go. We can't be held to ransom by players thinking, having players say, I might stay, I might go. I said it last night, Kevin. I think you'll agree with me on this. United in the summer, I think this summer coming is going to be more important than the summer we've just had, because I think the players that we need to bring in for the positions we need to bring in, they're bigger. They're absolutely bigger.
It's going to be even harder because of the World Cup as well. I mean, that's just never a good transfer window, and prices just will either go stupid or everyone's going to be after the player as well, aren't they? We do need to be as clever as we can in January. I mean, I'm sure we had money for a midfielder in the last transfer window. I mean, that kind of just vanished anyway. So we need to get somebody. I hope it's not Conor Gallagher.
Oh, if it's Conor Gallagher, I'll be. I mean, look, I'll never.
Well, they've been talking about the Wolves boy as well.
Kev, like, never boo one, but if he come, I wouldn't be like, we got Conor Gallagher. I'd be like, mint.
Oh, Conor Gallagher. But the Wolves, the boy from Wolves has been getting talked about a little bit as well. And you know what I've said about him? Well, not me, my brother, the Wolves fan, has said about him. So, but if he's getting talked about, he's getting talked about. The scouts must like him as well. But Jay always says, my brother always says that he gets schooled by the top team's defences, and he looks out of place and he looks lost, and they completely overrun him every time he's watched the Arsenals and the Cities and the Liverpools play against him. He's looked lost, but in other games he looks good. So that's
he will. I guarantee he'll be mint against us. But I tell you what, though, I feel for your brother, mate. Fucking Rob Edwards as the manager.
I know.
That's a joke.
Well, just getting ready for the Championship, isn't it? That manager appointment.
The other side of it, as I said last night, United are not planning to make signings in January, despite several players going to AFCON. The only comment that I heard in that I went, ears pricked, is the club will only act if a long-term target unexpectedly becomes available, rather than making short-term signings. Now,
so cryptic, isn't it? I mean, bloody hell.
You can't tell me that Conor Gallagher's a long-term. I refuse to believe it, Kev. I don't picture the United board. I don't picture Barada and Wilcox going,
oof.
Conor Gallagher. Hang on, I've got Conor on the phone. You get the jet fired up. No, I don't see it. The thing I would like to hope with this, and there is this little bit of believerness in me. Believerness, not believer. I'm not a fucking Justin Bieber fan. Believerness. I said to you all that going away on international duty makes players do crazy things. And I still wonder if away with the international setup, speaking to Inanna, speaking to Mbeumo, I just wonder if that belabor situation rears its head. I just wonder. It makes me think that there is potential there. It really does. I'm not going to say. I can't say that out loud, Philip. Chappie, I'd get bloody cancelled. We'll say, come. I was going to say, come on, the girls, but that's worse.
Even worse. Then.
Oh, come on, United women. Let's go, United women.
Remove the word "come" from it, Dan. For God's sake.
The women's team get cheated a lot, so watching his pain, says Akko. He's worth half a Fredo, full Fredo if you get mid-table. Anderson isn't worth more than what we paid for them two, just my opinion, that's it. Stiller and Anderson for me, says Andy. And I don't think we sell any shirts with I don't see United fans queuing bloody store. Mum, I want Gallagher on me bloody shit. I don't see that happening at all. I just don't see it.
That would be so disappointing if that's what we got in. I would be so disappointed with that. And I love a new signing. I love a new signing at United, but not.
It would be like waking up on Christmas Day morning expecting the keys to your favourite car and turning outside and seeing a fucking Robin Reliant. It would. I don't think these good people that watch this, and you, my friend, I genuinely don't think I would be able to do a video. Hang on, Kev, right? I don't think I'd be able to do a video. I'm just going to remove you a second. You'll still be able to see, right? I don't think I would actually be able to sit here and do this, right? I wouldn't be able to sit here and go, ladies and gentlemen, Conor Gallagher signs for Manchester United. Get in there. We are going forward. We're going to win the bloody... I just couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to bloody do it. It wouldn't happen. It is not what I am. Today is going to be the day. Andy says, do you think we'd be stronger with the back four?
You know, it just doesn't matter, Andy. I know what
I agree.
matter.
I think
It's never gonna happen.
he's never going to do it, isn't it? It's like me
We
saying
do play back four sometimes. We do play. I've seen it. I've seen the back four.
variations, isn't it?
Yeah, I know what the question.
That'd be like me saying, do you think
that means a different manager? So that's where that question leads us to, doesn't it? So
it'd be like me saying, would I enjoy a night with Margot Robbie or Mia Khalifa? We all know Mrs. Robinson is never going to let that happen. So why even think about it? I've just dropped myself in it there. Mrs. Robinson's going to say, "Who's Mia Khalifa?" Lead singer of Evanescence. Lead singer of Evanescence. So, guys, that's where we are anyway. Let him go. If we're not going to play Kobie Manioo, please, Ruben, let the boy go. Let him go and do something with his career. Let him not be restricted by the shackles of Manchester United. Let him not be restricted by a manager who just doesn't seem to fancy him. For the good of the player, let him go. Because, and I'll finish on this point, there is no chance in hell, if he is not getting in ahead of Bruno Fernandes this summer, that if Bruno and Casemiro go and we bring in an Elliot Anderson, we bring in a Baleba, we bring in a Stiller, that he will play ahead of them.
He won't.
He just won't. So that's why at least you've upgraded to me. Yeah, me. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for stopping by. I haven't even asked you to like and subscribe the video tonight because I've been that bloody angry at the world. So make sure you like and subscribe the video. On the way out, make sure you drop a comment. I will try and get back to you. Kev, where can we find you?
Kevin7, I'll be here, same as always. Live stream on Saturday, sing a song. Cracking on. We're cracking on. Road to 12K for me, my friend. Road to 12K.
I'm still trying to get to 2K, mate. It's been 8 years.
Well, you'll get there. We'll get there eventually.
Years. But no. Thank you very much for joining us always, mate.
Thank you, everyone.
Obliged to you. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe. We will see you. Well, I will see you tomorrow. Kev, I'll give you a night off tomorrow.
Friday.
Friday. Other than that, guys, Dan United, Kev United, let Manioo go United. Oota.